right? But baseline, I wouldn't pull them on top. I focus first and foremost, pressure forward, tight waist, jump. Get him down at least to an elbow. Now he can ride. Now he can learn how to hook, cover, all this kind of stuff. Cradle, whatever it may be. All right, any questions from there? Any questions? Okay. So now we're gonna start doing one of my favorite rides, which is all wrist rides, right? Lenny was talking about the dangers of clearing and all that kind of stuff. Sit up with your chest. Okay, so one thing, if I'm in here, you start to grab a wrist. I'm scoring. So when we're talking about 2-on-1 tilts, one of my favorite things to do and concepts to learn is learning how to give one wrist and re-grab. Okay? So what that means is, he grabs this wrist, I'm using this wrist right here. Again, I kind of re-grab his finger, and I give it to the other. Now I got a 2-on-1. Now I'm giving back. Or he grabs this wrist, I'm giving it to the other. And that's why when Lenny was saying it's good to just make sure you're sealed, like seal off. Okay, pinch for now, pinch. Yep. And sometimes not to worry about reaching for hands. Because again, if you're wrestling somebody like me and you're reaching for hands, I'm gonna re-grab. So think about it transversely. Wrestling is interesting because there's always action. Every action is a reaction, and a reaction, and it goes on forever, right? So Lenny was talking about sometimes if you're reaching on guys that are dangerous with cross grabs, better off to seal and figure that out when you get to your feet. Okay, so he's grabbing hands, learning how to re-grab. You got this other one, re-grab, re-grab. What that looks like when we're wrestling is I drive and I chop. He goes grab any hand. I'm going re-grab. All right, now we're gonna get into turning with tilts. There's a billion ways to get to, there's a lot of ways to get to cross wrist tilt, but this is one of the simplest ones, right? Simple, forward, I crash, he re-grabs wrist, right there, I'm waiting for that. Once I grab, with all the tilts that I show, it's important to make sure you pull wrist all the way across. So, I pull it from here to his far hip. Does anybody know why we do that?
Stretches and opens the window.
Say it again?
Stretches his body, opens the window, to come through.
For sure, 100%, right? Look at this window right here. Also, preventatively, if I'm in front here, get your elbow inside. Look how much space there is when his wrist stays either in front of his belly button or far away from his belly button. Go ahead, put your elbow in. Right? So as opposed to me pulling this to this far wrist, put your elbow in. It's really hard for him to get there. Right? So this is a little trick that can secure your wrist tie and make sure you're getting your tilts. So once I go here and he grabs wrist, I grab this, I'm always pulling when I cross to that far hip. It's hard for him to get his elbow in. While he's figuring that out, I'm gonna turn him. Okay, so go here down. We're gonna pressure him. We're gonna pressure him. I just like to do this little crash sometimes, right? So one of the easiest things to do to prevent guys from creating bad habits to come over the top is doing this little crash at the elbow, right? So I go thumb out, and I'm not just crashing with this chop hand, I'm using that opposite tight waist hand to pull. So it's a shift, everything comes to the side. Right here. I like to go same wrist, and then if he grabs this wrist on my belly, I'm grabbing here. If he grabs this wrist with the right hand, I re-grab. So no matter what, I'm getting it. So if he goes tight waist hand, re-grab, pull it to the far side. As he's looking to defend that, I'm rolling. I gotta apply this pressure here. And I'm getting back points. Notice, bottom knee to the ceiling, right hand's inside. I look to push this elbow to his shoulder. And now I scoop. I try to make a T with our bodies. The more guys will do this and not get back points because they're laying parallel. And guys will just roll up. So if you get a chance, I had a good amount of pins with tilts on Division I college wrestlers. First round, the year I went into the Blaze, the first round I wrestled a guy from UNI, Dylan Peters. He was a two-time All-American. He's having a bad season, so he was not seeded. But still, two-time All-American, two-time All-American. I pinned him in about 45 seconds with this tilt. So it's a move that you can pin people with if you understand how to apply that pressure once it's on his back. So again, I'm driving. This is where coaches, you can kind of let your kids be creative. You can chop or you can do whatever you want. I like to stay under the arms, right? Worst case scenario, under the arms is always better than coming over the top. So I crash, right? Whatever hand he grabs, I re-grab, feed. Once I'm here, I gotta pull it to this far hip. And as I do so, I can take weight off because I'm looking to roll. And one thing to think about here too, is while he's going elbow, if I let him fight this, like fight, and he breaks it, okay. If I'm in here and if I start rolling, he has to make a decision now. So I encourage guys, once they get that wrist to that hip, just to roll and figure out how you're gonna get your back points there. Right? The more you do in practice, the better you'll be at learning this. Because as he's defending, if I let him defend, he's going to defend. But if I start threatening him, sometimes guys will try to post. And that's not gonna help him either. I'm still going. So this guy's better off fighting that elbow free, so as we roll through, he can get back to his gun. Either way, he's going to his back right now. He's better off committing to that elbow. So, as a turner, I want to make sure when I get this hip, I'm not worried about him digging that elbow inside. I have to threaten him. Because right now, two options are going to happen. He's either going to commit to the elbow dig, which he's better off for, right? Or he's going to post his hand, which is not going to help him at all. But either way, I'm creating the action for him to start defending. So as I roll through, bottom knee, right, is posted to the ceiling, and I gotta start scooting immediately. This hand is pushing elbow through his shoulder, and as I scoot, right, his shoulder blades are flat. Some guys try to start peeling hands, the ref slaps them at, it's over. Happened plenty of times in my college career. I had a good amount of pins and tilts, which is not like super common, but if you do this right and apply the pressure and focus on